Hey yo!
Hey y'all! Happy Friday!
We doing the thing.
What's today? July
12th.
12th. Oh my goodness. Okay.
We're rolling.
Right. July is rolling right along.
Mm-hmm.
So today we wanted to talk to you guys about probably was going to be a 2-part video
Because you'll get it.
right. So we wanted to talk to you guys about ultimately about how you help someone in your life understand how to love you, because that is your job. You do have to do that.
Yeah.
And so part 1 is you have to know how to love you. You have to kind of be well versed in how that works.
So just take a second. Do you know how to love you?
Right.
Like for real.
Have you explored
know
that?
how to
Have
love
you
you?
looked into that? I have.
Yeah, me too.
I have more recently been pretty committed to figuring that out and to communicating that
Yeah,
to
it's
other
good.
people
It's good.
in my life. So, because we are somewhat well versed in that, we'll give you some tips.
Pointers. Pointer number 1, just so we don't get too rigid too quick.
Yeah.
It's gonna change.
Yes.
The way you want to be loved right now might not be the way you want to be
Yes.
loved in 5-10 years.
Yeah.
The way
Because
you
you will
receive love
change.
might not make sense tomorrow the way it makes sense today.
Yeah.
So, rule number 1, check in constantly
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah. You will never be done.
Yeah, this work has no end.
You will never figure it out completely.
When the tree stops growing, it starts dying. I don't know who said that, but it's profound.
We're citing you, whoever you are. Yeah, I think that's really important because the underlying thing about that is that you are constantly changing.
Right.
You will not always be the same. And you, as you change, will require different things. You'll just like different things. Mm-hmm. And that's natural and that's healthy. And that should be the case. So I think it helps in loving yourself to honor that.
Yes.
Because if you're expecting everything to stay the same, you will get frustrated with yourself and find it difficult, I think, possibly to love yourself because you expect things to stay the same.
And then everybody will fail you. Every relationship will fall short because you aren't understanding that major point. So that's the groundwork, the foundation to understand that this is going to change and you need to continue to check in.
Yeah. Now, more practical ways, because Rachel and I both do not like when people say, love yourself, and don't give any explanation for that. And I think we've done a little bit of this before, but we'll reiterate some of this. So I think one of the ways that I have learned to love myself is to start noticing the things that I actually do love about myself instead of focusing so much on the things that I don't like about myself. We've talked before about how negativity, anything negative seems to have so much more weight. It seems to be so much more important. It just seems to be the thing that we focus on the most versus what's positive. And so I think you have to sort of like amplify the positive.
This is something you have to do really intentionally. So I would talk about it in terms of like celebration. You should celebrate frequently, right? All the little things. So when you have an aha moment and you realize like, oh, I like to be loved that way, you should be like, and that's good. And let's celebrate that. Cheers, toast, whatever. Write it down. Write in your journal about how great that is. Yeah. But find ways to celebrate these little things because it helps to give them more weight and value than the things that right now we dwell on, which gives them a lot of value because you're dwelling on them, right?
Right.
Like you're giving it a lot of energy.
One of the ways I celebrate is by giving gratitude.
It's a great way to celebrate.
I just and that could just be as thankful as being like, I am so grateful that whatever.
So one of my favorite concepts is that anxiety cannot live in the present moment. It only lives when you're off into the future. And the thing that gratitude does is it brings you to the present moment. Anytime you say, like, I am grateful for, you are talking about right now, right here. And so you're completely present, and that anxiety goes away, and the fear can't live there. And so it's a great way to celebrate and to, like, bring you, like, back down to center and kind of eliminate some anxiety. One of the other things I think is really important that you could do that's practical is you need to remind yourself to think about you, right?
Yes.
We will go through days and days of, like, thinking about other people and focusing on our job, and then we'll realize we haven't put any thought into ourselves. And if one of the things you're trying to do is learn how to love yourself, then that's, like, what you should do with the time you spend thinking about yourself. One of the things that I do in a spiritual way is when there are people out there that I love or my loved ones love, I'll write their name or their initials on me. I just started this not that long ago, and it helps remind me every time I see it, like, oh yeah, think about them, give them energy, like, send them love.
Oh, I like that.
I did this because my friend's sister was pregnant, and a regular at the bar I work at was like, oh, we will write the initials or name of the baby on us so everybody's giving that baby energy. So I started doing that with this woman and her child and her initials, because she was also going through some medical challenges of her own. And so then I started to do it with other people, not just babies. And the other day, because I hadn't been thinking about myself enough, I wrote Coach on my arm, which is my nickname at a lot of places. And that was my reminder to, like, when I see that, I'm like, yeah, think about you. Like, take a minute.
I really, really like that. I'm gonna start doing that. That's a really good one.
So you might, like, get a necklace with your name on it. You might wear a rubber band and write your name on it. You might write your name. I write right on my skin because, you know, I'm just unorthodox like that.
I guess what's most important is, like, whatever your thing is, whatever your emblem is, that you commit to being intentional about, like, when I see that, I'm going to check in with me.
It's a reminder.
Think about me. I'm going to say something loving to myself.
And in this case, it might be to spend some time thinking about, like, how does love feel good to me? How do I absorb love? So it's not just like, well, sure, words of affirmation might feel good to a lot of people or everybody or whatever, but are you, like, really absorbing that as love? And that's what we want you to find out.
I was going to say, along those same lines, in terms of, I triggered a thought for myself. We have taught about negative self-talk and positive self-talk. And I think it's good to become aware and conscious of the way that you're talking to yourself in order to love yourself better. The same way you would need to be conscious of the way that you're talking to another person to know if your communication is, like, loving toward them. So becoming more aware of that, I think, is important. And then also, we've done a lot of videos.
We have
also covered this. If you haven't already, get familiar with your love languages.
Yes, I was just about to say that.
Get familiar with your love languages, because that, I think, teaches you a lot about what might need healing for you, so that you can love yourself more. Or
what's been absent in your past.
What's been absent.
I'd also say, once you realize your love languages, practice them on yourself. So if affirmation is a love language for you, start to affirm yourself. If you find that acts of service is a love language for you, somehow find a way to provide acts of service for yourself.
Actually, when people are always saying self-care, the things that you would do for someone else that you would consider an act of service, you probably need some of those same things, or you at least need the same concept of being thoughtful like that. So yes, 100%. Do those things for yourself. Like, there are times where I'm like, oh, look at me cooking for myself, because usually we cook for other people and
we do that out of obligation. So the way we talk about having to cook is like, oh, I don't want to have to make dinner. Instead of saying, like, I'm going to cook for me tonight.
I'm going to make myself something really, really good, So practice your love languages on yourself.
So it's ever-changing. Stay in tune.
Ever-changing.
Get a reminder and celebrate when you do it well. Do your love language tests. And practice.
Yes. We teach love,
Just
y'all.
a little bit of something for you. We'll talk about the other stuff next week.
Right. See you next Friday. Bye.